Ambassador, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You are leading the Security Council at a time of ever-changing and intensifying volatility. Can you tell us more about your priorities for July?
These are indeed very challenging times. Our main priority is to give that importance to the multilateral system that we have in place, to prioritize the actions, collective actions of the international community through the UN and all the mechanisms and all the principal organs of the United Nations. So we believe that only through collective actions, only through effective multilateralism, we can address the many challenges that are facing the international community right now.
You arrived to this posting fairly recently, but you have deep experience within the UN system, Human Rights Council, SCAP, UNESCO. You've also served as a diplomat in Asia, Africa, Europe. What do you bring to the Council, your experience, your perspectives?
I think it's the collective experience of Pakistan as a country, of Pakistan's diplomacy, as a voice of the developing countries, of Pakistan's diplomacy and efforts throughout the years in upholding the international law, in upholding and taking forward the principles and purposes of the Charter of the United Nations, and working across the three global pillars of the UN, that is peace and security and development and human rights. I believe that Pakistan has played that role of engaging our partners in the international community. We work across divides, so we know what it takes to build bridges, to work on convergences, how to address differences. And that, I think, is the spirit and the beauty of what we do at the UN. So we will continue to do that. That's our goal and aspiration. And we utilize every opportunity that is afforded to Pakistan, whether as a member of the Security Council or other organizations, to play that role for the global good.
Is your assessment one of optimism given this ever-changing, seems by the hour, the minute, the day, conflicts around the world seem to get worse?
Yes, I think there are many developments that lead us to believe that not enough is being done to address all those challenges that are before us, whether it's in the realm of international peace and security, you know, that there are issues, there are ongoing conflicts, Gaza is burning. Now we have this situation between Iran and Israel. A couple of weeks back, you saw there was a grave situation in our own region in South Asia between India and Pakistan. We were subjected to unlawful, unprovoked aggression. So these are very serious issues which are there. Similarly, on the development side, we had this big agreement on the SDGs, and we have the Pact for the Future. There are so many important agreements that the international community, the member states, have agreed to on climate, you know, the Paris Agreement and all of that. But there are setbacks. There are voices that are raising different opinions. Some are suggesting to go back on these global agreements. So these are negative trends. But I think on the positive side, we should have some optimism. We should have this confidence in the international system that is there in place, because when you look at it, despite all these challenges, despite all these difficult circumstances which sometimes divide the membership, the majority of the membership, the UN member states, they have been able to overcome these differences and to come together. So I believe that the majority of the membership has great trust in the UN and in the value of the multilateral system, and that's why you see that the UN remains so busy.
Very recently, Secretary General Antonio Guterres announced this proposal for major reform, this overhaul of the United Nations called the UN 80 initiative. I want to get your thoughts. On one hand, there are so many issues, but what he is asking are for major cuts across this body and moving the UN into the next 80 years.
I think to better understand this, it would be good to recall that reforms or major reform initiatives, this is not something new in the history of the UN. So UN is an evolving organization, and our objective is to have this organization adapt to the requirements, to the changing realities, to the emerging challenges. That means you have to adapt, you have to reform. And the objective is to have an organization that is fit for purpose, that is leaner, more efficient. So we see that going forward, this will not weaken but strengthen the UN. We also see that, and this is how the Secretary General has explained, that this reform initiative is not just a reaction to the budgetary constraints. It is something that UN needed in any case.
What are your reflections as the United Nations marks its 80th anniversary?
80 years have passed since we established this organization. There are many new things that this organization is addressing. You have the AI, you have the emerging technologies, you have so many things, so many challenges across the whole spectrum that the UN is trying to address. But the beauty of it, and this is something that the member states are increasingly discussing these days, that the charter that is there, this little booklet with all its articles, it's so well written. It has everything there still about human rights, about development, about peace and security, about the responsibilities of the Security Council and the General Assembly. That there is now, I see this very strong tendency for the member states to go back to this charter and to see, what is there, how we can better implement those provisions and those articles of the charter, which are so clearly well written, futuristic, which are still relevant, and which provide us, these mechanisms which we can, if we come together, we can still continue to effectively and very efficiently utilize to promote our common and shared objectives for peace and security and development and the promotion of human rights.
Ambassador Ahmad, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
UN Insider.